Although Scream 3 made a lot of money, it was a critical failure. The first two movies were critically acclaimed, but the third one definitely was not, and fans also were very mixed about it. It took 10 years before a new movie was made, and I think, to be honest, it needed that wait. Kevin Williamson returns once again to write most of the film with uncredited rewrites from Aaron Kruger, the writer of Scream 3. When I first heard about the film was being made, I thought it was too good to be true, and I saw the trailer and almost shit myself. The trailer didn't look as good as the previous films, but I had hope for it. It came out and didn't make anywhere near as much money as the previous films, but still had a pretty good box office return and received mixed to positive reviews. I waited until it was first shown on TV about a year later. I gave it a chance, and I really loved it. Every second of it I loved. The other three films parodied slasher movies and sequels. This one ignored that old formula and parodied remakes. By 2011, remakes were about as big as they are now, maybe even bigger, so it definitely made sense that the film would parody them. The opening scene is incredibly funny. Instantly it parodies long-running slasher sequels by showing the intros for Stab 4 to 7. People start by watching the previous film, then they get killed, and it's revealed that it's the next movie. This repeats until the Stab 7 logo comes up. The two girls get killed by Ghostface, and instantly I feel like I've gone back home. The film shows Sydney, who has returned to Woodsboro to promote her new book about the events from the previous movies. This happens to coincide with the 15th anniversary of the original murders. She is staying with her aunt and teenage cousin. Her teenage cousin is called Jill and is played by Emma Roberts, who I know from one of my favourite movies of all time. It's kind of a funny story. Jill and her friends are being harassed on the phone by Ghostface. Jill's also dealing with the betrayal of her ex-boyfriend who cheated on her. While Sydney's at a book signing, she is visited by Gail, who has writer's block. Gail is now married to Dewey, and they've both remained in Woodsboro, Dewey now being the main sheriff of Woodsboro. Evidence of the murder from the opening scene is found in Sydney's car and she's taken into questioning, but is later released. Then slowly Jill's friends are being murdered. Sydney's trying to make sure Jill is safe while Gail and Dewey go out to try and catch the people who are killing all the people. They used the help of two geeky teenagers who run the movie club at the high school. They explain that the killer is using the rules of horror movie remakes. All the people who die are somehow linked to the murders in the original movie, most commonly because they have the same first or last name of the original victims. Gail and Dewey expect the killer to strike at a local annual party where they are showing all the Stab movies. After Gail gets stabbed, a group of people run away and hide out at one of Jill's friends' house. Then the final act all takes place there. People are killed until only 3 people remain, similar to the original movie. Spoiler alert again, and trust me, if you haven't seen this film yet, you really need to click the annotation because it's an awesome fucking twist. In this film, the killer is Sydney's cousin Jill and her secret boyfriend who's one of the movie geeks. The twist was the most unexpected twist I think I've seen in any horror movie ever made and was definitely the best twist in the entire series. It makes the twist at the end of The Sixth Sense look like the twists in this later Saw sequels, which we will get to soon. I absolutely loved the twist and the whole final act is incredibly tense and creepy. All in all, Scream 4 is a fantastic sequel. The kills are probably the best in the series, the humour aspect from the original 2 films return, even if it isn't as big as the other 2 films, and the film just feels really new. It doesn't have the same feeling of the original films, it has its own feeling when you're watching it, and it feels fresh. The acting is top notch once again, and the writing is fantastic. Thank God that Kevin Williamson returned. I don't know what could have happened without him. Wes Craven did a fantastic job directing this film as well as the whole series. It's just a really welcome addition to the Scream series. Sadly though, this might actually be the final film in the series. It was meant to be the first in the new trilogy, but I just don't see that happening. We are getting a Scream TV series, which is a stupid fucking idea, especially as none of the original cast is returning, and also it's on MTV. It's not going to have any extreme violence or bad language, which is pretty much what the original films were completely comprised of, because they were slasher movies. Harvey Weinstein, the person who owned the companies Miramax and the Weinstein Company who made the films, has expressed his interest in making a 5th film, and has even said that he wants to make one final film and then end the franchise completely because he thinks he's milked it. Smart guy. Why couldn't the owners of the Friday the 13th films have said something like that after the 7th film, or even the owners of the Paranormal Activity films after the 1st film? Oh well, I hope they make one final film, but if they don't, I won't mind, because Scream 4 would be a perfect ending to an almost perfect horror series. I give it an A++. And now we have it, the Scream series, probably my favourite horror franchise of all time, along with Nightmare on Elm Street. So now comes the time where I rank the films. The 4th and the worst in the series is Scream 3. The 3rd, Scream 4. 2nd, Scream. And number 1, the best in the series, is Scream 2. So now it's time to move on to our next franchise. Well, I've got 3 series in line ready to review. First, we're going to take a step away from horror. I promised this last year when I was going to review the Star Trek films, but never actually finished watching the films and only watched the first 2. Well, this time we're looking at a series that I have loved since I was a little kid. It's not going to take me almost 2 weeks to review them, because I'm not as busy as I was when doing the Scream reviews. So come back sometime soon for my review of the Back to the Future movies.